Hey guys, it's David from Juki Junkies, home to Gigi's Fabric Shop, and in today's video, I'm going to go over how to set the tension on the Juki 8700 industrial sewing machine. Stay tuned and let's learn. Okay, so let's learn how to set the tension on the 8700. The first two things that we want to learn is the upper tension and the lower tension. The upper tension is actually going to be located right here. This is my upper tension knob, and then I have my bobbin case tension, and that's going to control the lower tension of the machine. And pretty much what you want to do is you want to make sure that both of these are happy with each other to have that perfect stitch quality. Depending on what thicknesses of fabric we're sewing or the weight of thread we're using is going to be dependent on what kind of tension we're going to have on the bobbin case and on the upper tension. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to set the tension with Glide 40 weight, which is a polyester thread. It's 40 weight, and we're going to be doing it with 4 layers of just cotton fabric. For demonstration purposes, we're going to use things that are going to contrast really well. So we have a darker blue fabric with a light gray thread, and that light gray thread is going to really blow up on this blue, which makes it really easy to see the stitch quality, and we can adjust that tension accordingly. First thing first, we're going to go ahead and make sure that this machine is threaded properly. If you guys don't know how to thread this machine, I'll link the video in the description of it. Watch that video first if you haven't already. If you have, let's go ahead and jump into setting that tension. So I'll go ahead and show you how to insert this bobbin. The thread should come down on the right side, creating a 9. We're going to insert it into that bobbin case like so. Bring it into that little slot right there, right into that little tension spring. And what I like to do is the tension test on my bobbin case. So if I can pull this bobbin up with holding this thread, that's good tension. It's pretty tight. That means it's not allowing that bobbin to let thread out. I can jiggle it and it drops. That means it's loose enough to do that. If it's not loose enough to drop, then your tension's probably a little too tight. So I like to have it where I can pull it up and shake it, and it drops down just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and snip a 2 3-inch tail just like that, and we're going to go ahead and insert this bobbin case in the machine, inserting it with this U facing up and making sure you hear that click. So let's all hear that click. Ready? Boom. Bobbin case is inserted. We have the machine threaded properly. We're going to go ahead and lift up that foot, pull up our bobbin thread just like that, and we can start doing a test sample. So like I said, we're going to be using 4 layers of cotton, and we'll do one little test sew to see how our tension is right off the bat. So the first line is the tension we're starting with, which I'm sure the machine has its tension pretty much already set up for success. So we'll look at that stitch quality. So as you can see, there's individual stitches, like little dinosaur humps, my mom likes to call it. And that's how you know your stitch quality is good. So now let's check the back. Well, stitch quality looks good too. So now, obviously, we don't really have to do anything for this machine, but we're gonna mess it up and show you what it's not supposed to look like and how to fix it to make it look like this. So I know it's a little confusing. The upper tension knob, believe it or not, controls your bottom stitch quality of your material. And the bobbin case controls the stitch quality on the top of your material. So just keep that in mind. So we're gonna just do some drastic measures to kind of have those results to show you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and just loosen this upper tension knob like crazy. So it's super, super loose, and we're gonna try to sew and see what happens. So we just sewed one little strip, and the upper tension still looks pretty good, right? But the bottom tension looks like a straight line. So you can see the difference. Look at the dinosaur humps. This is the first sew out we did right here. This is the second. You can see how it's like a line, right? When you see that line on the bobbin, at the bottom of your material, you know your upper tension is just too loose. So all we have to do is just tighten up that tension, just like this, turn it to the right. Usually small adjustments is all you need, but since I did the drastic one, I'm gonna have to do a drastic one back. And we're gonna go ahead and sew and see what it looks like now. Veered off my straight line, but take a look at that. So we got the good upper tension, or the top of the material still looks good, and the bottom is looking good again. Just by doing that small little adjustment on the top, we were able to fix the bottom thread tension on this material. So now we're good with that. So now let's mess up the bobbin case and show you how to fix that. We'll just go ahead and use that little door on that bobbin case to take that bobbin case out. And you can use a T-screw if you don't have one of these. Make sure you get one. It's on JukiJunkies.com, and I'll link it in the description. You'll just loosen this small recessed screw right here. There's 2 screws on the bobbin case. It's not that one. It's this one, the recessed one, the ones that's flush with the bobbin case. And we'll just loosen it just to mess up the tension. So we're going to loosen it a lot because we want to mess up the tension bad for demonstration purposes. When you're tightening and loosening this, you should always do quarter turns or less than a quarter of a turn to adjust your tension. And also, now that it's super loose, you can see when I pick up the bobbin thread, my bobbin case stays in my hand. It doesn't actually go up. That means it's super loose, which, like I said, it should never be that loose, but for demonstration purposes, we're going to show you what it looks like when it's that loose, so you have an understanding of what to adjust when your tension is off. We're going to go ahead and put our material underneath there. And voila. So this is our sew out, last one, this top line right here. And you can see it just looks like a line. There's no individual stitches. It looks pretty rough. We don't want to give somebody a project with sewing like that. So we'll look at the bottom, and the bobbin's still good. So if our stitch quality looks like that on the top of our material, we know our bobbin case needs an adjustment. So to adjust it, same way I loosened it, except we're going to turn it righty. So we're just going to adjust that screw to the right. And like I said, very small quarter turns is usually all you need. But since I did a drastic turn, I'm going to have to do a drastic turn back, leaving that 2 to 3 inch tail, inserting that bobbin case again, pulling up that bobbin thread, bringing it back, and let's do our final sew out. Okay, perfect. So now when we look at our final sew out, we have a good stitch quality on the top, not like that line. See the difference between the two? Straight line, good stitch quality, and the bottom looks good too. Now we know how to adjust our tension. Some things to keep in mind. When you're using heavier weight threads, you're going to probably have to increase your tension because it's a much heavier weight thread. You need more tension to restrain that weight. So keep that in mind. Lesser weight threads, you're going to probably loosen your tension on the upper and the bottom. And when you're sewing with finer materials, thicker materials, all those kind of things, you might have to adjust your tension a little bit more as well. And one other thing to keep in mind too is if you can't get your tension to look good on the top or bottom, no matter how tight you screw this upper tension knob or no matter how tight you screw that tension on the bobbin case, you may just need to replace the spring on your upper tension or a new bobbin case to kind of fix that issue. So if you guys need help or have any questions, make sure you leave a comment down on this video. Like the video if it helped you out, and subscribe. We post every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We're open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and feel free to give us a call. Our number is 813-661-9000, and we're a small family-owned business here in Brandon, Florida, right outside of Tampa. And if you guys want to shop our website, buy some threads, buy some needles, buy some Juki machines or accessories, shop JukiJunkies.com, and we'll leave that in the description of this video. Hope you guys had a great day, and I hope this helps you out.